Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. The following interview is designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be. Your host, Derek Champagne, is the founder and CEO of The Artist Evolution, a full-service agency building successful brands, marketing tools, and campaigns, and also the author of the best-selling book, Don't Buy a Duck. And now, let's begin today's Leadership Series interview.
Welcome to the Business Leadership Series, where our goal is to inspire you to become the best leader that you can be. Our guest today, James Smith. He is with James+James Furniture, co-founder. James, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
We were talking a minute ago how we have guests from all over the country, but we've got some amazing entrepreneurs and leaders right here in Northwest Arkansas that are not really overlooked, but that we want to spotlight more. So I want to talk to you today. You've got a really cool story. Tell me, kind of start at the beginning for me of your entrepreneurial journey. Where were you? I know you've got some agency background too, but tell me what actually birthed James+James.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, I think like a lot of ideas, it was really about necessity. Back 5 years ago in September of 2011, I didn't have a job and was kind of in between jobs looking to try to figure out what my next move was, but needed a way to pay rent and to, buy food, things like that.
Yeah.
I was renting a house just north of here in a town called Rogers with two other buddies of mine, and we had a garage. So around that time, before that, I was in digital marketing, working with social media campaigns, websites, mobile apps like that for brands. And so I was always interested in what websites are out there and what could be used for marketing.
Right.
And around that time, Pinterest had really come to popularity. Everything was about Pinterest.
Right.
And so I was like, I'm gonna check this out, see what it's about, see how it could be used potentially for digital marketing. So I started looking at Pinterest. And as I was browsing around the site, I noticed that a lot of the furniture and home things that were being pinned by primarily women were very like simplistic, rustic kind of designs, and those were hard to find in furniture stores. Most of the stuff in furniture store is like a spray lacquer, and it's very very finished.
Right.
So I started noticing that, and I thought to myself, I could probably build a simple coffee table in this kind of style, and then maybe sell that one and make a little money, and just do that until I figured out what to do next. So I went to Lowe's, bought some wood, bought a little skill saw, and got in the garage and started making a simple rustic farmhouse table. I got about halfway through making it, and it got to the point where I needed to cut the legs, and the legs for it were a 4x4. And what I didn't realize was that the skill saw that I got wasn't big enough to cut all the way through the 4x4. So I had to cut it halfway, turn it 180, cut it again. And it's the leg, so it's got to be straight. It's got to be. I didn't have sawhorses, anything, and I was trying to make this work. And I just thought to myself, this is the stupidest idea you have ever had. You just blew money on the saw on the wood, and you never. But luckily, I was pretty stubborn. I said, no, I'm gonna finish this coffee table. So it took me a long time. Got it finished. Listed it on Craigslist. And from there, I had some people email me, and they're like, "Hey, I really like your style." And I just thought that was funny because I didn't have a style. I was just,
You're just trying to complete the project.
Just trying to build something that I can make a little money with.
That's great.
And so they would ask, hey, I really like the coffee table you built. Could you build me like a bench for the entryway to my house? I had no idea how to build anything, but I had Google and YouTube, and
so no carpentry background.
None at all. Yeah.
Okay.
But when you have the internet, you can pretty much figure out how to do anything. There's some things that are skill based that you have to acquire skills with. Anyways, so the answer, when everybody would email me and ask me, can you do this? The answer was always, yeah, because I needed the money, and then I would stay up as late as I needed to figure out how the heck to build it.
Okay.
And just so from there, just slowly, people would ask, can you do this? Can you do that? I'd post them on Facebook, and then after a couple weeks of doing that, a buddy of mine from college, also named James, reached out to me on Twitter and said, hey, I love what you're doing, building stuff. You mind if I come and build with you?
Cool.
And I was like, yeah, sure, come on. So we just started splitting the cost of the wood and the cost of what we'd sell it for. And that's really where it kind of grew from.
Wow. So when did you realize we're onto something bigger here? This is more than just paying our way through college or more than just a means to an end short term. What was that moment like?
Yeah, I think it was, a couple months after that, maybe January, February of that next year, where we were getting a steady stream of orders coming in, and we were having to, pay friends to help us out on Saturdays and come in for a couple hours, and we were working pretty much every evening. that we kind of thought, maybe we're onto something. Maybe this could be something, bigger than just us building in the garage. And so from there, we reached out to Moxiox, which is a local print and design shop, and they helped us come up with the name James+James and the logo and the look. And we also noticed that originally when we started, we thought people were buying from us because we were kind of cheaper than buying it from a national brand. But as we started delivering to homes, we realized we were delivering to $1 million home after $1 million home.
Sure.
We're like, perhaps the reason that they're buying from us isn't the price. It's because they have a hard time finding the right size table, the right stain color, the right whatever it is. And so at that point, we really branded and said, okay, we're going to be a brand. We're not going to be just some guy building in the garage. We're going to turn this into something that people will want. And so really just started going from there. We both, after started building in the garage, we both got full-time, working full-time. So we'd get off, we'd go to work at 8, get off at 5, and then build in the garage until, 2 o'clock in the morning and do it all over again. And have friends come over on Saturday and help. And then eventually, after about a year, we both were able to go full-time into James+James.
Wow. So tell me, what was there any moment that you remember that was a large order, or was a scaling moment for you that stands out to you?
No, I think because it wasn't really just like an overnight, like boom, all of a sudden thing. It was kind of this gradual build up. But when it got to that point where we're like struggling to keep up, and at the end of the night, when we'd go to close the garage, we had to stack the tables 3 high to get them to fit, and we kind of spill out into the driveway. We thought, hey, maybe we're onto something here. Maybe this can be something bigger, and and we can grow this thing.
Wow. So that's pretty cool too, but you guys are so busy. Did it kind of jump up on you, to sneak up on you a little bit, that type of growth? Yeah,
and I think, at the beginning it's so exciting, because it's growing and growing and growing, and you just have this unexplainable, endless supply of energy that later, and years later, you really wish you could get back and bottle.
Absolutely.
But yeah, just that excitement of, oh man, this is, and then we started doing deliveries to other cities too. We realized that there was only so many people we could reach in Northwest Arkansas. And Tulsa had, a lot more people, and they were only a few hours away. So we thought, well, let's rent a U-Haul truck. We'll tell people, hey, we're going to be in Tulsa 3 weeks from today. Place your orders, and we'll charge them each a little bit for delivery, and then we'll use that delivery money to rent the U-Haul, drive it there, and deliver it to customers' homes. So we started doing that, and then I was like, well, Dallas, that's a lot more people, and that's only 5 hours away. So we started doing it there, and then we're like, well, Austin's just a few hours past. Right. So I just kind of really ballooned from there, and now we do deliveries everywhere from Houston to Chicago to New York City to Atlanta, pretty much everywhere in between.
Okay.
And so about 70% of the furniture that we build here in Arkansas actually leaves the state and gets delivered that way, or it gets shipped. We'll crate it and ship it on a freight truck. And so when we started getting orders in from all these other areas, that was really when it got really exciting. So.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. So 40 states, 40-ish states you've delivered to?
We've got now, I think we've got furniture in all 48 states.
Wow.
Not Hawaii and Alaska that I know of, although somebody may have moved with it there. And then we've also sold and shipped to Canada, Bermuda. There was a guy that had a beachfront property in Bahrain that he wanted our furniture, so we shipped there.
Wow.
We had a customer like 2 or 3 weeks ago reach out to us on Instagram and let us know that she has her furniture in London, England. So it's just exciting to know,
that's awesome.
That there's so many families that every evening get together around one of the tables that we built, or and just that knowing that life is happening around pieces of furniture that we were able to build and design is just such a special feeling for
That's
our team.
awesome, man. That's rewarding. So you started in a little garage. How big is your garage now?
Yeah, so we outgrew the garage, we moved into a larger space, and expanded that. Right now we've got about 12,000 square feet of production space, and then plus the resale store that we have down the road in Springdale.
And what was how long have you been in business?
It was 5 years last month. Yeah,
congratulations. That's
thanks.
great growth.
Thanks.
That's awesome. I know it's it probably seemed like quite a journey for you, and it has been. There's companies that struggle for a lot longer than that and aren't always that successful. So you guys are rocking it.
Thank you. Yeah, so we have an excellent team, and that's really how we're able to do it.
Tell me about your team a little bit. How do you, number one, how do you find the right people, and then how do you motivate and keep them?
Yeah, we really look for people that we want to work with and that we think are going to be great team members, and don't really worry so much about their skill set, because all of that can be taught and trained. If you find the right people that want to be there, want to be a part of what you're doing, are excited and are good workers, you can teach them anything. Right. So we really focus on finding people not with the skill sets that we want, but with the attitude and the kind of the culture that we already have. So we just have a fantastic team. I always tell people that all I do now is just hire people that are smarter than me. So, I was in the build side the last couple of days, building a couple pieces of furniture, and just asking the guys that are in there questions like, hey, how would you do this? And so really being able to bring on people that really do understand, build and carpentry and all that good stuff. And then also bringing other people that can be trained up as well. But just getting a team of people that want to be there, are excited about it.
Right.
And so now we have about 20 full-time employees, all here in Arkansas, and they really are just the best team. And, we're just continually finding ways to improve and tweak. And, when I look at kind of the amount of furniture that's being produced each day in the wood shop, it would have terrified me 5 years ago to know that we had to build this much furniture each month or whatever. But you just kind of baby step there. You grow this, and you grow that, and you go that, and then so you just put good systems in place and get good people.
That's awesome. So tell me about your role. What's your day-to-day like? What's your description with your company?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't get to do as much building as I used to. I think a lot of owners, especially when your business is growing fast, you don't really get to do what you started doing. So a lot of it, is making sure that the team has what they need, making sure they're well supported, and then focusing on growth. Where do we go from here? It's great that we've had the growth that we've had over the last 5 years, but what's going to happen the next year and the next 5 years? And so focusing on that, working to keep the team strong and the culture strong. So I spend a lot of my time on those growth plans of where do we go next? How do we better serve the customer?
That's awesome. So how do you find your customers? Obviously, you've had powerful word of mouth and social media. What's your strategy for bringing customers in?
Yeah, for us, we're all an e-commerce company. So even people that find us locally, even though we have a store here, they almost all find us because of the internet or online.
Right.
Facebook sends us a significant amount of our sales. So we do a lot of Facebook ad spend. Because you're just able to target so specifically on Facebook, right? You can go in and we can pull people that have bought from us last year, and we can tell Facebook, I want you to find people that look like these people, and what better people to target to than people that Facebook thinks look like people that have bought from you.
Yes.
Or you can target geographically based off of cities that we deliver to.
Yeah.
Obviously if we deliver to their city, there's a way higher chance we can convert them to a sale than if they have to be shipped to or whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
So Facebook's really big for us. Organic Google search is really big for us as well. We kind of, if you go to Google search trends and look at, what gets searched over time, you can search for like cold medicine. You'll see that searches for cold medicine spike in the winter and go down in the summer.
Right.
And you can also see across time, so from like last year to this year and so forth. If you look for searches for farmhouse tables, you'll see that those have really just taken off since 2011, which is when we started. And that has nothing to do with us. It's just there's a lot more people now that are willing to buy furniture online and know that they can buy furniture online.
Right.
So we're in the right place at the right time. We label our products like people search. So when we come up with a new product, we don't give it some obscure name. If it's a large square rustic table, we call it large square rustic table. What we look at it and say, if somebody is searching Google to find this, what are they searching that's going to want them to land on this? So we do a lot of, just organic search optimization, and that's really helped us. We have people that order from us all the time in New York that tell us, I found you because I searched for, X generic term and our website came up, so making sure that our bounce rate is really low, time on site is really high, and that Google recognizes when they send us somebody to our site because of this search term, we're going to take care of them, and we are what they wanted to find.
Right.
So Google organic search, and then obviously word of mouth, so making sure that our customers are taken care of, because when they are, they tell other people. When you have people over, the dining table is often where you're entertaining. So people, they come in, where'd you get this dining table?
Right.
And if you got the dining table at a furniture store, then, I got it at so-and-so. But when you had a group of craftsmen build it for you, and they customized it for you, and they delivered it to your home, and they have a story about starting in the garage, it's really easy for us, and we work really hard to turn our customers into advocates. So they're not just happy with our product, they're ecstatic, and they want to tell other people. And so because of that, a good percentage of our business is, Tina down the road bought one of your tables and she just loved it, and so she told us about it. Or I went over to my friend Amy's house and I asked her where she got her table, and she told me about your story.
Yeah.
Or it's a repeat business. We've been really trying to diversify our product offerings. So somebody will come in and they may start with a small product. They may buy a coffee table, and then when that experience goes really well, they come back to us to buy their dining table, and then they come back and buy their kitchen table, and then, and so just taking care of people has been
That's
huge.
great.
So those are our three biggest things, but all online. Everybody finds us online.
Yeah.
And they, Facebook for us is a really big validator, whereas we're asking somebody in, let's say Atlanta, to give us a couple, $1,000, $2,000 for a dining table set that they've never seen from a company that they've never actually walked into our, location.
Right.
They've never touched and felt the product, and that's a pretty large leap for a large purchase like that. But when you've got, hundreds of reviews on Facebook and hundreds, and really good ratings on Houzz and on Google and stuff, it's easier for people to have that confidence level.
Gives them that social proof.
Yeah, because you can't fake
ratings.
that. People know if anybody can throw up a website and throw up pretty pictures on it. But if you've got, 50,000 people that follow you on Facebook and 4.6 rating out of 5, it's really easy for them to feel confident enough to say, okay, these guys are legit, and they are going to actually show up a month from now with my furniture. So,
yeah. That's awesome. So for customer service, is there anything that stands out that makes you guys unique, that you focus on, that makes you different, that ensures the delivery of the experience that you want to create?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us for customer service and customer experience starts with expectation setting. If you set expectations properly to begin with, then you're going to have way less problems. So making sure people understand what our product is and what our product isn't, and what people like about our product. I think that's really important because our product is only right for a certain set of the population. Other people want different things, and so making sure that we're properly communicating what our product is and what it isn't. So, and that right there is the biggest thing, is setting expectations.
Wow.
Anytime we have a miss in expectation when a customer is not satisfied with something, we're always reviewing and saying, could we have communicated something better earlier on to avoid this situation? I think for us too, it's also in us being defined not by if problems occur, but how we respond when problems occur. Okay. Because you're always going to have, especially when you're delivering furniture across the country and this and that, you're always going to have, issues that arise, and hopefully most of them are out of your control. And you're really defined by how you respond and how you make sure the customer is taken care of, and that they understand what the next step is and how you're going to address the issue, whether it's shipping damage or whatever it is. And I think too, building a relationship with customers, so that when something does go wrong, they know who to call, and they know that person's going to take care of them. Instead of just calling the company and random and trying to get somebody on the phone to talk to, they're talking to a decision maker and somebody that has helped them from the first time they called our company to selecting the size and the color and all that stuff, and explain to them how everything works. They know who to reach out to if something goes wrong.
That's great. So what does success look like for you?
For us, it's I tell the team every day, it's all about creating opportunities for us. From starting the company the very first day to creating, work for me, so I had money for rent and food. And that just continues. We want to create more opportunities. So there's a lot of people out there that need work and would be a great fit for our team. And so we want to grow so that we can provide that work for them. And we want to continue to expand rapidly so that hopefully in a couple of years we can employ twice as many people as we do now.
That's cool.
But then also inside of that, we really do believe that we have a really excellent team, and excellent people want to grow. And so we have to be growing so that those excellent people we have room to grow inside of our company. Because, if I've got somebody that's a really, really great QC manager, they're going to want to grow. And if they can't grow here, I can't blame them if they go somewhere else. But I don't want them to go somewhere else. So growing the company, at a rate that those opportunities are being created inside the company, so we can keep our best people. So it's just creating internal opportunities and then creating new opportunities for more people. So, we're really just pursuing growth very ambitiously. We're really happy with the first 5 years, but we see it as just being the beginning of what we want to be.
Wow, that's great. Thank you. How do you stay motivated and focused with all the demands of your position?
It's tricky. It really is. And it's definitely, after 5 years of doing this, you do have those moments where you feel burnt, and burnt out and just tired. So I think, first of all, just, taking care of yourself, because you can kind of really rush and work really hard and work yourself, tired for the first year, 2 years or so. But then after that, you really have to kind of set yourself at a more manageable pace. Right. I think also just is keeping things exciting. So I view, as I'm looking at growth opportunities, I view each of those growth opportunities as a little business of its own inside of the business. Because sometimes it's hard, a lot of people the entrepreneurs that start businesses, they're excited about that entrepreneurial thing. And when it gets to the size where you're trying to manage people calling in sick and this and that, and just all the mundane things of running a business, that's not what entrepreneurs want to do, and so, but you have to do that. It's part of the job. So figuring out how to build a team that can handle a lot of those things, but then also have entrepreneurial pursuits inside of the business, I think is the best way to describe it. So there's still those things that are excited, I'm growing and maturing, but they're a part of the larger turning machine. That's
awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So what about finding balance in life? What do you do, or what do you recommend for finding a time to take a break without affecting the business, but also making you refresh and revitalized?
I think it's just realizing that, I think a lot of entrepreneurs need to realize that they're not that important. If they really have systems set up and a really good team in place, we like to lie to ourselves and be like, well, if I left, everything would just go horribly wrong. Right. And we use that as an excuse to not take care of ourselves and take the proper time. But in reality, everything will be just fine. If you have if you have good organization, good systems in place, and good people, you can take those breaks. And I think it's great to take those breaks, because sometimes you feel trapped and I got to be here or things aren't going to go well. And then to say, the next 2 weeks, I'm turning my phone off and I'm going on vacation and spending time with my family, and to come back from that and say, oh, everything's running fine. You guys didn't, you didn't need me or whatever. Is really good. And it forces you also to set up those systems. We really view our business as we want to set it up so that we could clone it and franchise it and it would run just fine. We have no intent of ever doing that. But if we can do that, then it shows that our systems don't rely on, secret knowledge. They rely on, actual systems and you do this, you pull this report or whatever. And so just having things set up so that you don't have to worry about things there, but really just not believing that lie that, if you're not there, things aren't going to be.
That's great.
Because they're not. They're going to be fine, and you got to take care of yourself, or you're not going to be effective. So
great. So, what are you most proud of? What's your proudest accomplishment? Personal, professional?
Well, probably my 11-month-old daughter, Amelia.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, thanks.
That's awesome.
It's just been a joy.
She's sleeping a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, and she's walking and smiling, and she's just a joy. And it's fun too. I started dating my wife about the time that we started the company, and so our whole dating relationship was her coming in Saturday and helping me paint things and stuff. And
cool.
So it's been fun to kind of to do that, and then get married and all that good stuff. But that, and I think just the team that we've built, and just hearing feedback from people. Like, sometimes I'll be in a X place and people won't know that that I own James+James or whatever, and I'll hear people talk about James+James, and that nothing is more exciting than I was on a delivery a couple years ago, and every now and then I'll go and do some deliveries, and they didn't know who I was, and we were carrying the table out of the delivery truck into the customer's home, and the neighbor comes out and she's like, "You didn't tell me you were getting a James+James table." And that was just so awesome to know that we've built this brand that goes above and beyond us. So these people that they recognize that we want to build beautiful things and sturdy things and strong things, and having it be where people want a James+James table, and so that was just a really good moment of how do we continue to build this brand into something that's valuable and that is sought after.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And congratulations again on your daughter. That's exciting. I got a little girl of my own, and they grab your heart pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah. So for those out there listening who might have that entrepreneurial itch and are hearing your story, it doesn't mean that everyone is going to be successful to the level of what you're doing of having an idea and it was kind of birthed out of necessity to make money. But what advice do you have for someone that's been considering or has something they're tinkering with or toying with? What would you tell them?
I think that the biggest thing, if you want to go and do entrepreneurial stuff and start a business, is you have to set up yourself so that you can. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of people that obligate their finances in such a way that they've got a car payment and they've got a mortgage payment and they've got this and they've got that, and they have to make, and they've obligated every last cent of their paycheck before they even get it. And so if an opportunity presented itself for them to go and develop this idea or to do this, they wouldn't be able to, because they have to meet those obligations. And so I think if you want to be able to do entrepreneurial stuff, you have to set yourself up to be flexible. You really need to get 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up, and really just reduce the obligations that you have. Can you drive a used car instead of a new car so you don't have a car payment? And that's really the biggest thing, because I think there's a lot of people that want to do entrepreneurial pursuits, but they just can't because they have, bound themselves in with obligations. And so, even now that the company has grown, we don't have car payments. We don't have, and just because we want the flexibility that when opportunities come up to be able to seize them and to do something instead of just having to go out and get a job. And so I always tell people, set yourself up for those opportunities. Have that money so that if an opportunity comes open, you can invest in this or that. And that's really the biggest piece of advice. And I'd say once you do get started, you're going to have a lot of people that want to jump on board, and they'll offer you advice and, money and this and that. And if you've got a good idea that you really believe in, just maintain ownership of that. The equity that you're going to get for X is a good deal for them, or they wouldn't offer to do it.
Sure.
And so there are certainly some ideas and things that, take a lot more money to start up than certainly our company did. And sometimes, it's unavoidable to need to bring in, finances and stuff. But if you can, in most ideas, I think you can do without that, and just maintain ownership. And then, you be the one making the decision, and you can make decisions that are best for your customers and not best for your shareholders. So.
Yeah, that's great. It sets you up for success.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a bigger reward later on too.
Yeah. So
especially when you're putting all that sweat equity in.
Yeah,
early
absolutely.
on.
Yeah. And, and I've heard horror stories of people that don't own, a whole lot of the business, and then the other people come in and bring in more investments and their share gets diluted, and it's just, so.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, anything else you want to share with our listeners today?
I think the biggest thing is just go out and do something. If a lot of people, I wish I could do something like that, or it's cool to see this or that. But the first step is just doing something, and you're going to do a lot of things that fail before you get one that succeeds. If you talk to any entrepreneur, it's not like, I was sitting there and I had one good idea, and I tried that one idea and I built this, this business off of it. They don't talk about well, I also tried to do this and that didn't really work, and I tried to do this and nobody really wanted that, so just do something, free yourself up, try something, don't put in more than you're able to or willing to lose, just do something, and you'll learn from that, and you'll do something else, and hopefully eventually you'll get something that will stick. So
yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So how can we learn more about you and your furniture?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is carpenterjames.com. Cool. You can jump on there, browse our products. We also have a very active Facebook page and Instagram that you can find from the website there too. We post daily. We post pictures that we get back from customers and events that are going on and all that good stuff. So we would love for you guys to check us out. If you're looking for a custom piece of furniture, we would love to build you a bed or a table or whatnot. Cool. So yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. And James, thanks so much. It's James Smith with James+James Furniture. Thank you again for being our guest today. We enjoy learning from you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a
Look
pleasure.
forward to seeing what you're doing next. You're doing amazing things.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Business Leadership Series, where we engage with leaders who are making an impact on their worlds and who want to share their knowledge and experience for your personal and professional growth. This interview was designed to inspire you to become the best leader you can be.